Next topic in our unit number 4 is voltage controlled oscillator, which is available in the IC format IC566. This is the IC566 VCO. So it is a 8-pin IC. The first pin is the ground pin, second pin no connection, and third pin is the square wave output, fourth pin is the triangular wave output, fifth pin is the modulation input, sixth pin is the R1, seventh pin is the C1, and eighth pin is the positive supply voltage. So this is the pin diagram of the VCO. So let us see the typical connection diagram of the 566 VCO. We have to connect a resistor R1 between the VCC to the 6th pin, and from the VCC to the pin number 5 we are going to connect the R2. In between R2 and R1 we have to use the 0.001 microfarad capacitor, and between the pin number 5 and ground we have to use the R3 resistor, and from the pin number 7 to the ground we have to use one capacitor C1. Okay, so here R1, C1 are the external capacitor and resistor in order to maintain the frequency. So and at the VC at the pin number 5 we are going to apply the modulating input, and from the fourth pin we are getting the triangular wave output, and from the third pin we are getting the square wave output. So this VCO IC can able to generate the square wave as well as the triangular wave. This is the internal block diagram of the voltage controlled oscillator IC566. So it has one constant current source and one buffer, one Smith trigger, and one inverting amplifier. Okay, so let us see, between the VCC to the pin number 6 we have a resistor R1, and which is going into the constant current source, and pin number 5 is a modulating input that is also going into the constant current source, and the constant current is given to the buffer amplifier internally, and it is appears at the pin number 7. From the pin number 7 to the ground we have a capacitor C1. Okay, and from the pin number 1 to the pin number here, the constant current source, we have one voltage divider network which forms by RA and RB. Between the Smith trigger to ground we have a voltage divider network RA and RB. Okay, so this capacitor C1 is getting charged through the constant current source. Okay, and this constant current is again appearing through buffer to the Smith trigger, and this voltage after the buffer is the triangular output voltage. Why it is triangular output voltage means, here the capacitor is charging through a constant current source, so that the voltage across the capacitor is a ramp signal. Okay, the ramp signal, the positive going ramp and the negative going ramp both will forms the triangular wave. Therefore the voltage when charging we will get a positive going ramp, when the capacitor is discharging we will get the negative going ramp. Like that we will get a triangular wave across the capacitor C, and which appears across the pin number 4, and this voltage is applied to the Smith trigger, and this Smith trigger will gives us the square wave as output signal, one square wave as output signal, and this square wave output is given to voltage divider network as well as the constant current source in order to control like a feedback, and this square wave is again is passing through the inverter circuit in order to give the inverted square wave. Okay, so here we will get the square wave at this node, and the same square wave is appear with the inverted version after this inverter, so that we can see when the triangular wave in the positive going ramp we will get a minus V saturation, like that exactly opposite will be there. Based on this voltage that is present at this node, at the non-inverting terminal of our Smith trigger, this Smith trigger will changes its output. Okay, based on the change in the output, we will get the charging and discharging of the capacitor in order to get the triangular wave and also square wave. This is the output waveforms of the voltage controlled oscillator. At the pin number 4, we will get the triangular wave, and this is the Smith trigger output. So if you observe, the triangular wave and Smith trigger output are in phase, because triangular wave is a positive going ramp, then the output is the plus V saturation at this node only. When the triangular wave is a negative going ramp, output is a minus V saturation. Okay, like that. The output appearing to the outside of the IC is the inverted version, which is just opposite to this square wave. Therefore, when this wave is in the plus V saturation, this output wave will be in a negative saturation. Okay, like that, it is exactly opposite output. And the frequency of oscillations is given by f naught is equal to 2 into plus V minus Vc by C1 R1 plus V. So where plus V is the supply voltage what we are applying to the IC, and minus Vc is a control voltage given in order to change the frequency of the VCO. Okay, so the plus V is the applied voltage or supply voltage for the IC, and Vc is the control voltage given to change the free running frequency of VCO, divided by C1 R1 are the external capacitor and resistors to decide the frequency of oscillations, and plus V is again the supply voltage. Let us see the V2F conversion. The voltage to frequency conversion factor is a very important parameter for the VCO, and which is kV, voltage to frequency conversion factor, is equal to delta F naught by delta Vc. So it is a ratio of the change in the frequency of operation to the change in the control voltage. So if you change in the control voltage, what is the change in the frequency of operation will be given as the voltage to frequency conversion factor. Delta Vc is a change in the control voltage producing the change of delta F naught in the frequency. Let F naught dash is a new frequency and F naught is the original frequency. Then delta F naught, the change in the frequency, is equal to F naught dash minus F naught into omega. Okay, where F naught dash is a new frequency, F naught is the original frequency. While Vc, the control voltage, is changed by delta Vc. So initially it is some control voltage, it was changed to some, it was increases or decreases, then that change is called as the delta Vc. To achieve this, from the expression of F naught dash, we can write F naught dash is equal to 2 into plus V, supply voltage, minus the Vc has been changed to Vc minus delta Vc, divided by C1 R1 plus V. Initially this minus delta Vc is not there, now it is there. Okay, so F naught is equal to 2 into plus V minus Vc by C1 R1 plus V. This is the original frequency. This is the new frequency. This new frequency was achieved by just changing this Vc to delta Vc, is getting added with the Vc. So as it is going inside minus of, so this delta Vc also become minus. So delta F naught is equal to F2 minus F1, which is equal to 2 delta Vc by C1 R1 plus V, and delta Vc is equal to R1 C1 delta F naught plus V divided by 2. That is the change in the control voltage, which is equation number 1. From this we are going to write the R1 and C1 equations. So with no modulation input signal is applied, the control voltage Vc is equal to 7 by 8 times of V, which is a standard value for the IC 565. And if F naught is the original frequency, then F naught is equal to 2 into plus V minus 7 by 8 V, which is the control voltage. V minus control voltage divided by C1 R1 plus V, right? So that the Vc is replaced as 7 by 8 V, therefore which is equal to 0.25 divided by C1 R1. By using the value of R1 and C1 from the equation number 1, so we can get it as F naught is equal to 0.25 divided by this C1 R1 can be written as 2 delta Vc by F naught plus V, and the kV which is delta F naught by delta Vc, which is our intention to get, is equal to F naught by 0.125 plus V. Therefore, kV is equal to 1 by 0.25 can be written as 8 F naught divided by plus V, where V is the supply voltage of the IC and F naught is the free running frequency. Okay, so the voltage to frequency conversion factor kV is equal to 8 F naught divided by V, where F naught is the original frequency. This is the required voltage to frequency conversion factor. When we see the applications of the VCO, FM modulation, signal generation like a triangular waveform, square wave, both are getting generated from this, and function generator, whatever the frequency, it can able to generate the different functions, and FSK demodulator and frequency multipliers. Okay, these are all the different applications of the VCO. Next, we are going to see about the MPY634 IC. So the MPY634 is a wide bandwidth, high accuracy, 4-quadrant analog multiplier IC. The MPY634 is a wide bandwidth, high accuracy, 4-quadrant analog multiplier IC, which was designed by the Texas Instruments. It has accurately laser trimmed multiplier characteristics. Okay, so it has accurately laser trimmed multiplier characteristics. Its differential X, Y and Z inputs allow the configuration as multiplier, square, divider, square root and other functions while maintaining high accuracy. So it has three inputs X, Y and Z, so that which can be used like this MPY IC can be used to as a multiplier, squarer, divider, square root and other functions on the different signals. The wide bandwidth of the new design allows the signal processing at intermediate frequency and radio frequency and video frequencies too. The internal output amplifier of MPY634 reduces the design complexity compared to other high frequency multipliers and balanced modulator. Okay, so it has internal output amplifier, so which makes our circuit easier because we need not to use the complex designs. Okay, the complexity of circuit is also getting minimized. It has capable of performing the frequency mixing. It can able to use the frequency mixing too, and balanced modulation and demodulation with excellent carrier rejection. We can also use the MPY634 for demodulation purpose like FM and AM frequencies. An accurate internal voltage reference provides precise setting of scale factor. The differential Z input allows the user selected scale factor from 0.1 to 10 using the external feedback resistor. So we can use the differential input Z. As I told, it has X, Y and Z type of inputs. So by using the Z input, we can select the different scaling factors. So different multiplication factors from 0.1 to 10 by using the external feedback resistor. This is the pin diagram of the MPY634. So it is a 14 pin DIP package IC. The pin number 1 is the X1 input and pin number 2 is the X2 input and pin 3 is no connection and pin 4 is the scale factor and pin number 5 is no connection and 6th pin is a Y1 input and 7th pin is the Y2 input and 8th pin is the minus supply voltage and 9th pin is the no connection and 10th pin is the Z2 input and 11th pin is the Z1 input and 12th pin is the output and the 13th pin is no connection and 14th pin is the plus supply voltage. So here you can observe x1 input, x2 input. These two 1 and 2 terminals is used to give the x type of input, and 6 and 7th pins are used to give the y signal, and the 10 and 11 pins are used to give the z input. Okay, so and we will take the output across the 12 multiplier as well. So what is multiplier? Which multiplies the input signals. Okay, so this is the internal black diagram of the MPY634. So here we are using the three operational amplifiers here and one multiplier core. Okay, so actually it is multiplying x and y, and z is the attenuation factor that we can able to change by using external resistors, and sf is a scaling factor which is given to the voltage reference and bias section of the black diagram, and this voltage reference is given to the multiplier core in order to change the scaling factors. Okay, so these x inputs and y inputs are going into the multiplier core and getting multiplied, and the multiplied output is given to the op amp comparator. So here the z1 is the another input, so which is used to give the different scaling factors. So internally it has 0.75 attenuation factor, and it is given to the inverting terminal of our op amp A, so that we will get the output from this op amp, and the output voltage is equal to A into gain into x1 minus x2, because it is working like a differential amplifier, x1 minus x2 into y1 minus y2. The difference between x1 x2 and y1 y2 will be multiplied and divided by the scaling factor sf, and these two multiplication divided by the scaling factor sf minus z1 minus z2, because it is working like a differential amplifier. Again, this multiplication output will be subtracted from z1 minus z2 and then amplified by a scaling factor of a. Okay, A is the gain of the last amplifier section, and the Vs and minus Vs are the supply voltages. This is about the MP564 black diagram, and if you see the features of the MPY634, it has a wide bandwidth and accuracy is more, and internal wide bandwidth op amp, and easy to use, low cost. These are all the different features of the MPY634. Now if you see the applications of MPY634 analog multiplier IC, it has precision analog signal multiplication and processing, and modulation and demodulation of the signals, voltage controlled amplifiers, and video signal processing. So these are all the applications for our wideband analog multiplier MPY634 IC, and voltage control filters and the oscillators too. So these are all the different applications of the MPY634 IC. And if you see the next topic, analog multipliers. What is analog multipliers? We will see. Analog multiplier is a circuit whose output voltage at any instant is proportional to the product of the instantaneous value of two individual input voltages. AD633 is one of the example for analog multiplier. So it is the 8-pin IC, so which will multiply the x input and y input. So here x1 x2, which is given to the op amp differential amplifier or a difference amplifier, and y1 y2 are going into the op amp 2. So here the y1 minus y2 will get generated here, x1 minus x2 will get generated here. So this x1 x2 difference and this y1 y2 difference will get multiplied here. So this multiplied output is given to the summer section here, and in the summer from the z we can apply some attenuation factor, so that additional signal or the attenuation factor will be added with our multiplied output and then given to the output buffer. From the 7th bin we will take the multiplied output, so which is a multiplication of the x1 minus x2 into y1 minus y2. The applications of multiplier ICs. The multiplier ICs are used for the following purposes like voltage squarer, frequency doubler, voltage divider, square rooter, phase angle detector and rectifier. These are all the applications of the multiplier IC. Okay, so let us see some of the applications, which is a voltage squarer. This is the black diagram for voltage squaring. So this multiplier will multiply the x and y input and gives at the output side, right? But here these x and y inputs has been joined and then given with a single voltage of V1. Therefore, the output voltage is equal to K into V1 square, where K is the multiplication factor. Okay, the input voltage V1 to be squared is simply connected to the both of the input terminals. Hence, we have Vx is equal to Vy is equal to V1. As we are applying V1 to the x terminal as well as the y terminal, Vx is equal to Vy is equal to V1 only, and then the output voltage V0 is equal to K into V1 square. So, as the two inputs are same, this multiplier will multiplies the V1 into V1, which is V1 square, into some scaling factor of this multiplier is K. Okay, the circuit thus performs the squaring operation. Then we can say, if we select the K as 1, then we can say V0 is equal to V1 square. So as the input is V1, output is V1 square, this circuit is working like a voltage squarer circuit. Next we will see the frequency doubler. A sine wave signal Vi has a peak amplitude of AV and the frequency of FH, then output voltage of the multiplier circuit is double in the input frequency. See, in the place of V1, if you give the Vi, which is a sinusoidal signal to our multiplier, then the output will be the double frequency to the input, because the two inputs x1 and y1 are both are same, which is a Vi. Okay, and then the multiplication, suppose if you say it is a sinusoidal wave, so the two inputs are getting multiplied, right? A sine omega t into a sine omega t. So the both are getting multiplied here. A into a is a square. Therefore, the amplitude here, if you see this high amplitude sinusoidal signal is the input signal, and this low amplitude sinusoidal signal is the output signal. So here, if you observe, the input signal, both input signals are same, a into a square, that is fine, sine into sine, sine square. Okay, the sine square can be written as 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2, like that. Frequency will be multiplied with the 2. Okay, 1 minus cos 2 omega t, so the omega is getting multiplied by 2, so that we can say the circuit is doubling the frequency. So in this case you can see it was doubled. Okay, it was increased, actually the frequency has been increased by a factor. For the one half cycle of the input signal, we can observe 1.5 cycle of the output signal, so that we can say output frequency is increased than the input frequency. By properly selecting the multiplication factors, we can get the double frequency too. Voltage divider. The voltage divider circuit can be constructed using a multiplier and op-amp. This circuit provides the ratio of the two input signals. So this is a circuit for the voltage divider network. So here one op-amp is used and one multiplier section is used. So for this multiplier section, one of the input is denominator, so which is dividing, right, that denominator, and here Vn, the numerator will be applied here Vn, and here denominator Vd is applied. So for the op amp, which is an inverting op amp, so in the feedback path we are applying this multiplier section. Therefore V0 is equal to minus Vn by kV2, okay, where V2 is the denominator and Vn is the numerator. V2 is equal to denominator and Vn is the numerator section. Okay, this circuit will works like a voltage divider like this. These are all the different applications of the multiplier ICs or multipliers, analog multipliers.